More memories for the Mets. A little cycle. You got the combined no-hitter. Now you've got the cycle. Mets are looking good. But, let's just say it for what it is at this point, all right? We are all sports fans, right? Varying degrees of sport fandom, different entry points, dad, uncle, whatever, early, later in life, maniacal fan, fringe fan, invested monetarily fan. You go to a lot of games, you don't. Whatever. There's a broad scope of fandom. But I got to tell you, on the heels of this announcement with Mickelson, $200 million from the Live Tour, and you and I love golf.
Yep.
All right. It is almost impossible these days to be a fan and not feel exploited. It's really starting to bother. Where's the game tonight? Is it on Yes? Is it on SNY? Is it on Channel 11? Is it on Channel 9? Is it on Amazon? Is it on Apple Plus? Is it on Peacock? Whatever the hell that is. It's rough being a fan, dude.
Man, I don't know how I fully feel about this, because as a former athlete, like I imagine myself 15, 20 years ago as an athlete saying, this has got to be prime time to go make some real money, right? The explosion in money around sport has become mind-blowing. And the Live tournament is obviously the catalyst to start this discussion, BT, because Phil Mickelson was offered $200 million to go play on this tour. Dustin Johnson, who renounced his PGA membership, was offered $125 million. They didn't even mention what they offered Tiger Woods, but if Tiger was younger, as you told me right before the show started, it would have been $1 billion that they had to be giving Tiger Woods. And by the way, if you're playing on this Live Tour and you don't make a birdie the entire time,
doesn't matter.
You still make $120,000 just to be there. The last place finisher on the Live Tour events, and then I don't know, they're 54-hole events. I don't know, where they are other than London, where the first one is. But whoever is playing,
there's one at Trump's in. Is it in Rye?
Whatever it is, whoever finished the last,
there's a local one,
makes $120,000.
Yeah.
The guy who finished doesn't have to do anything. It's just to show up. You're making $120,000. You put this on top, BT, of Aaron Rodgers making $50 million a year. Aaron Donald, the defensive tackle for the Los Angeles Rams, just made $36 million a year. You have NBA players making $350 million in a 10-year career. And LeBron James, as a 37-year-old young man, still a billionaire playing a sport. Let's loop in the NCAA now allowing name, image, and likeness. And it's okay that these kids make money. I believe that they should make a little bit of something. But when you have 18-year-olds that are millionaires who haven't accomplished jack, now, it makes it hard to be a fan of sport. It really does. And the crazy thing is, BT, and I haven't thought about this until we talked about it this morning. It might be baseball that saves us from hating athletes because they're making too much money, right? They're just not relatable. I don't mean hate in a bad way.
Yeah, but pertaining to
it's almost
sport
like,
and,
are you earning
commonality.
Are you earning it, right? Are you truly earning it?
Was Aaron Hicks earning it? I know.
No.
I mean, so I don't even know if there's that avenue for baseball.
But Aaron Hicks is, relatively speaking, making peanuts, right? He doesn't have a $330 million contract like Manny Machado or Bryce Harper or whatever Aaron Judge is going to get. But when I talk about the Bryce Harpers or the Manny Machados or the Mike Trouts or even Mookie Bettses, when you think about the journey that it took them to get that money, they earned it, man, right? You knew it. You saw it. It took, some years of arbitration. It sucked for them just like it sucks for Aaron Judge right now. He's got to sit through, arbitration again before he really gets paid. As a baseball player, you got to earn it. Some of these other sports, it's making me sour to the idea that you can make this much money, making you completely unrelatable to the fan and not even have to earn it. It frustrates the hell out of me, BT, and it really frustrates me about sport in general.
I can stomach, guys like LeBron and Steph and Trout and Aaron Rodgers and Brady making their money. And by the way, I don't begrudge anybody for making money.
No.
But your point, and I think really the real splintering point for me has been these NILs. Because it's promoted a lack of accountability. And, not to get into the weeds on that, but if you follow these stories, some of these kids are getting $1 million before they take a snap, and then they go to whatever campus they go to, and they don't win the starting job or whatever it might be, or they're not happy with the direction of the program, then they bounce. It's just it's lost its soul. It's lost its grit.
Yes.
Listen, Tiki, I understand. We like to romanticize, and those are a million years ago, not literally, but figuratively, millions of years ago, when Willie Mays or Manta would jump on the subway, and if you were around in the 50s, you might bump into him. Hey, there's Willie, there's Mickey, there's whomever riding the one train up to the Bronx. Those days are gone. Or they have an apartment in Queens, 2 or 3 grown men sharing an apartment in Queens. We get it. It's never going to go back to that, nor should it. But it has just so exponentially grown, and I'm fine with the growth. I'm not fine with the lack of earning behind the growth. I'm with you. It is really, really tough to watch. There was, and there has been multiple games this year, including one this weekend, where I really wanted to see how the Yankees games ended. I couldn't watch it.
Yes.
I could not watch it.
That's right.
So we talk about how do you grow baseball? How do you grow this sport? Well, I'll tell you one way you don't grow a sport is not having it on TV on a Sunday afternoon at 2:30 when most kids are either home or in the pool or in the backyard having a barbecue.
Yeah, but
that's the first step.
And you make such a valid point about how it's being consumed and the money that's going into that and where that money ultimately goes to. But I can't get past the fact that, John, who lives in wherever, in Queens, is spending $50,000 because he's an enormous Met fan. Who knows if he's actually making much more than $180,000, but he's spending all this money because he's a huge Met fan to go to every game and buy merchandise and get all these things.
Season tickets.
And that money turns into something else that enriches guys who don't appreciate it or maybe even haven't earned it. And that's baseball's a little bit different, but you get what I'm saying.
I get it.
Right? There's a disconnect and there's a gulf that's just widening.
Yep.
At every single iteration of new money into sport. And again, as an athlete, I would love this. I absolutely would love this. But as a former athlete, I don't know. It's disconnecting me from wanting to have fandom like I used to have fandom. Mm-hmm. It's turning me off. It turns me off.
You've got to compartmentalize. You almost have to internally be very aware that while whatever we are gravitating to, whether it's the Rangers tonight, Yankees, Mets, whatever it might be, Jets, Giants on the fall Sundays, whatever we devote our time to, we will extract, provided the team plays hard and doesn't get shellacked like we usually see with football teams lately. They give you just a modicum of effort. Those are a couple of hours you enjoy. Maybe you're with your son or your daughter. Maybe you're in the parking lot having a couple of beers and tailgating. You have fun. But you need to understand they don't care about you.
No.
They will never care about you, and it's only going to get worse. And that's what's scary.
Yes, and it's
only going to get worse.
And to pay these numbers, like to pay Aaron Donald $36 million and Aaron Rodgers $50 million and what Deshaun Watson, who's not even going to play for the first who knows how many games with this now 24th lawsuit, a civil suit filed against them, they have to raise prices. Right? So the average fan is now getting hit. Oh, it used to be, $40. Okay, now it's $45, and now it's $60. And before you know it, it's going to be $90. And like the fan gets hammered, and the fan can't afford it. And so it's just it's turning off my fandom. That's what it comes down to. And it's weird because baseball is the one sport where, I know it's unfair for some of these young players, but the system, it disincentivizes these guys getting paid early. But at least when they do get paid, they have fully earned it. And when I look at NILs and when I look at the last place finisher on the Live Tour making more money than 90% of the people that are listening to this show.
Than firemen, than cops, than EMTs.
I don't know.
Where are we?
It just frustrates me, man. It frustrates me about sport. And I don't know where this goes or where it ends, but I don't think it's going to be in a good place for the health of the sports that we all love.
I can't disagree with that, Tiki. It's 10-12 here on the Fan. Tiki and Tierney. Hopefully, hey, how's this for a happy start to the show? Sports are ruined. But it's true. I mean, and here's the most frustrating, most alarming, most disconcerting aspect of all this, right? Maybe not each year, but seemingly it just gets lower and lower and lower and more deeply embedded in what should be pure. I'll give you an example. We're going to go backwards, forward, right? Little League, it's an absolute racket.
Yes.
To play on travel teams, $3,000, $4,000, uniforms, bats of $400. We've been through that conversation, right? AAU basketball has been distorted for 20 years. You can make a case it's ruined high school basketball.
It's damn near ruining college basketball.
That's true. High school basketball. Now, New York City high school basketball, again, we romanticize about that. It's not even remotely what it used to be. I mean, we used to have Mullen, before that, Lou Alcindor, Billy Cunningham, all these tiny Archibald over DeWitt Clinton, Marbury, Mark Jackson, Kenny Smith, all these studs, right? If you are a great high school player now, Felipe Lopez at Rice, Artest at LaSalle, those days are over. If you're a great high school New York player now, you're not even going to the high school in New York. You're leaving. So Lord knows where you're going, but you're not playing for the team that you would have played for 20 years ago. So that's changed. Then you get to college. Kids are getting paid. Again, monetize your brand. You and I are all for that.
Yeah.
But it's not commensurate with what they've already achieved. That is distorting their views. It's adding to this gulf, the schism that and then you get to college and it's one and done, and you don't know any of these players, and there's no content basketball. There's no continuity. Growing up, you had rivalries. Oh, we might sound like old men right now, but everything that I just described has radically changed our level of enjoyment for sports.
That's exactly
right.
It's exactly right. The sports are getting ruined in an odd way.
Not to mention the dopiness on social media with all these clowns who think they're CEOs and presidents. I don't care what you think.
They're paid like CEOs and presidents. So why not give them the responsibility, dude?
What are we gonna do?
Serious. I don't know what we're gonna do.
We have a solution. Okay, here's the thing. We are a show of solutions.
Yes.
And so we can come out, we can present a million problems like we just did. What's the solution, partner?
But these are the real problems that are faced, that people maybe not even think about, but they have this like visceral reaction when they see a guy who's making way too much money not perform. Francisco Lindor is the perfect example. We've been talking about him all season long. He started out the year and was like, dude, this guy might win the MVP. Then he hit 207 in May, and we're like, dude, he sucks. Get him out of here, right? And the only reason you can go that discrepancy is because he's making $34 million a year.
That's true.
And so if you're not living up to what we believe you are being paid to achieve, then you get crushed, even if it's unfair.
Yeah.
And if you are even slightly overachieving what you're paid to achieve, you're the greatest player in the history of the world.
You're underpaid.
Exactly. So it's created this emotional imbalance, which I think is bad for sport, man. Like there's no consistency, there's no growth, there's no organic, I really like that kid. All of a sudden he gets paid and you're like, dude, he's making too much money. It's not good for the sport.
We need to find the world's biggest reset button and all reach for it. Cancel culture, reset. College tuition, reset.
Definitely.
No, it's not sustainable. Pro sports, reset. Let's reset everything.
Exactly. By the way, I'm paying $70,000+ for my kids to go to school. Right?
I know.
Think about that.
I know.
Think about that.
That is ludicrous. That is ludicrous speed, my friend. All right, we're inside the Town Fair Tire studio as always. Tiki and Tierney here on this Tuesday. Our friends at Town Fair remind you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. So we have laid out a lot of issues, and I'm sure many of you will agree with us. First off, Avenel, New Jersey. Anthony is on the fan. What's up, Ant? How you doing?
What's up, Anthony?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
All's
Love
good.
the open monologue here. I feel like I'm in a backyard barbecue chatting up with the boys. But listen,
that was a stream of consciousness. I apologize, Anthony.
It's all right. I know you guys spoke about Aaron Hicks and his salary. So Aaron Hicks, let's just put it this way. Aaron Hicks makes $10 million a year, correct?
Yes.
If you guys check that out.
Yep.
My love for the NHL, I know we haven't brought this up yet, but is far, between anything else. Connor McDavid, the creme de la creme of the NHL, makes $12.5 million a year.
That's crazy.
Let's talk about
best
that.
Best player in hockey.
Exactly. So you can't compare the two. And Tiki, we talk about the love and passion for the sport. I think, and I'm 31 years old, hockey hasn't really changed too much since I've been a kid. Those guys, they make, I feel like, bare minimum for what they do on a day-to-day basis, laying their bodies on the line.
They do.
Not that a lot of the other athletes don't. But, we're talking New York City, New York Rangers here. They walk in every day to the Garden. They're signing autographs left and right, and I feel like, hockey players still have that principle and pride in sport to where...
That is very true, by the way, Anthony. You're 100% correct.
Yep, they have a passion, and they also relate to the fan base very well.
Well, but the answer to why. Anthony, you know why? Because they're not coddled and elevated prematurely. When there's no...
You got to earn it.
I don't mean just financially, Anthony, thanks for the call. There is no glory waking up in Saskatchewan or some remote outpost in Michigan or in Albany or Long Island, whatever, and going to with your mom at a hockey rink at 3:37 in the morning, with your eyes still half shut, and a coach barking at you and banging a whistle for 2 hours, and you beating the crap out of each other, and no coddling.
By the way, that happens at 8. Liam Fitzpatrick, my friend's
you
kid.
told me about this kid.
He's up at 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning to go to practice and to play these tournaments and travel all over wherever.
Yep.
He's 8 years old, dude. You got to earn it in hockey. And if you're an ass in hockey, it gets legislated out on the ice.
Yes, it does.
So, Anthony is right. Hockey might be also the one bastion where it's still.
I think hockey by far even more than baseball.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Yes, you're right. Because even when they're great, they're not breaking the bank.
See, but I'm not just focusing on the money. I am
because I think a lot of this money is unearned. It's unearned money, and I'm not. Who am I to be the arbiter of what's worth what? Well, I don't know, right? But I do know that ticket prices and accessibility for fans is continually going up, right? And I remember, early in my career, someone told me, "Well, you always got to be great to the fans," and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, but why?" And it was because they're paying your salary. At the end of the day, the fan is paying your salary.
You know what, though? That sounds good. That used to be applicable. That's not the case anymore. No. You know who's paying the salary?
Who?
The networks.
Yeah.
The network TV deals, that used to apply. I agree.
Yeah, but why are the network TV deals paying those salaries? Because they're trying to get the fan to tune in. Like they're trying to get the fan to spend an extra $19 a month to sign up for Paramount Plus.
No, I'm talking about these NBA deals with ESPN or not even just the outlets of Peacock.
But ESPN's the same way because ESPN wants you to go to ESPN to watch their content. And then they're going to show commercials that's going to potentially make you buy a Dormio or whatever the hell commercial I'm watching right now. Right? You know what I mean?
Mattress?
Some mattress. Yeah. But whatever it is, that's why it's happening. Ultimately, it always gets filtered back to the fan, right? It always gets filtered back to those that are consuming, whether that consumption is in real time or that consumption is sitting on your ass with an IPA watching a game on your couch that you probably bought because you saw it on some ad on a TV show. You know what I mean?
No, listen, I understand that. I'm saying whether it's 20 or 30,000 in Queens or 30 or 40,000 in the Bronx, in large part, that is not what fuels the economic base for the Yanks and Mets. And it's not been that way for a long time.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
All TV money.
No,
but
that's what I'm saying.
The TV money is there for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, think about how many of your friends our age are devout NBA fans. A lot?
No. Probably not any.
No. I mean, I'm still hanging on.
There's been a disconnect that started about a decade ago.
Yes,
and it's hard.
And to be fair, for a lot of different reasons.
True,
but really, and there's
money,
familiarity. There's no defense. Yep. There's a lot of politics. There's a lot of different reasons for that.
Zero loyalty amongst the players. I mean,
what a mess. What a mess.
Damian Lillard might be the last one that hangs on.
I'm depressed.
Seriously.
I'm depressed.
That's why that Liv story, it just hit me weird today.
I know.
It hit me weird. And forgetting Phil. Phil's earned it, man. He's 51 years old. He's going to make $200 million. Fantastic.
He used to be my favorite.
But the dude that sucks on tour, that just barely could make the cut, doesn't have to now make the cut. All he's got to do is play in the event. He's making $120,000.
Yeah, it's different. All right, 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney here on the Fan. So the shifting winds of fandom. You guys are obviously impacted by this. What's your reaction to what we just laid out? We'll get some more calls coming up in a sec on the Fan.